first of all, you did such a great job, Morgan. My question was on where do you get your comments from? Do you source them from like a certain social media platform? Is it like a data set you already have? Where are you getting them from?
Yeah, so there's a pretty common like platform on like called Hugging Face, and it's a set. It's basically has sets of data sets. My comments I think were specifically taken from like X and Instagram and forms like that because they're mostly text snippets. I don't have a lot of images or videos; they're mostly like text snippets. But that was the data set that I chose to use. It was on Hugging Face.
Hi, so I don't know if this is working or not, but as part of like my research, I also looked into a lot of similar things about how social media works and like the platforms. And one of the things that I ran into is that like social media algorithms were like designed in part to kind of amplify certain hostile conversations in order to generate more interaction and get people to stay on the platform longer. So I was just wondering, like, obviously the research that you've done is wonderful, and it's important that we find ways to like identify hate speech and protect against it better. But like, do you think that social media companies themselves would be willing to like adopt these like more I don't know, like more better functioning systems and better functioning ways to detect hate speech, even if they knew that it might go against their own financial interest and disrupt kind of the way they design their algorithm?
Yeah, that's a great
Sorry.
question. That's all good. That's a great question. Something I'd really like to look into actually. The research that I'm gonna do right now is a little bit more on the user side. So how does a user know when, like, how a social media platform would register their comment? Is it hate speech? Is it not? But I would be very interested to see kind of like if there were like if AI text classifier moderation systems are become more in tune to things like slang and things like leet speak is what it's called when you switch out the your zeros and your O's, and more in tune to context-based hate. I wonder how they would react because you are right, like it would mess up that algorithmic like loophole echo chamber kind of idea. So I would be interested to see that in the future. That's really interesting.
Hi, I was wondering how in recent years there's been more GIFs and images used to portray like hate speech. So how would like the moderation be able to filter those out?
Yeah, so for my research I only did text. However, when I'm going in and reading through the documentation on my moderation endpoint, which is like the moderation endpoint itself is run through OpenAI, which is the owner of ChatGPT. They have different. Here, let me go back. So when we look at these like category score things, if you see any of them that have like the slashes, you can see like they repeat a lot, right? So some of their categories can apply to text and images. Some of their categories only apply to text. So in that, like the moderation endpoint can actually handle text-based hate. SiteEngine, the other one that I had mentioned before, that I used for to like qualify many of my comments, they can do text, audio, images, and videos. And so there is like prominent moderation that can focus on images and videos. So I don't know if that answers your question. Yes. Okay. So there are like moderation systems in place to like help take down or flag videos and photos that are hateful. Yes.
Thank you.
I didn't have a question. So what happens when perhaps the AI does not detect something as hateful, doesn't decide you're not gonna take it down? But I know sometimes people can report something and say, this is unacceptable. So then what's the loop that goes into?
Yeah, so that's usually, we haven't completely gotten rid of human moderators at this point. We have like a mix of human moderation and automated moderation. And so if something was reported, that usually gets flagged back up to human moderation. So if something was flagged in automated moderation, it's gonna be taken down or left out. But if someone reports it, that's where the human was moved back in.
Okay, so, thank you, Morgan.
Good job.